Hello everyone and welcome to my page. Whether you are watching this from Facebook or from YouTube, I want to say first and foremost, thank you for being here. I truly appreciate all of your support, and I want to take this time to introduce myself and let you all get to know me a little bit more and tell you why I'm here and really why I started this page and this business. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Taylor. I'm a nutrition and intuitive eating expert. I am co-owner of Lifelong Wellness Goals LLC, and I am also someone who really struggled with disordered eating for about 9 or 10 years of my life growing up. And I'm really going to dive into that during this video as well, because it really explains why I'm here. And full transparency, I do have some notes up in front of me just so I don't miss anything. So if I'm looking over, it's because I'm just looking at my notes real quick that you can't see in the video. So like I said, I am a nutrition expert, which means I'm a registered dietitian, and I went to Central Michigan University for 4 years and graduated in 2019 with my bachelor's degree in nutrition and dietetics. And then from 2019 to 2020, I did my internship with Central Michigan as well and got so much amazing experience out in the field, trying all these different avenues of becoming a dietitian, because for those of you that don't know, there are tons of different ways that a dietitian can show up in this world. So we can work at hospitals, we can work in long-term care, we can work in any type of food service, online like I am, outpatient settings, you name it. We can be in a bunch of different places, which was some experience that I got to have during my internship. And then after I finished my internship in 2020, I passed my RD exam and started working in an outpatient cardiac rehab clinic that I currently don't work at anymore, and really started Lifelong Wellness Goals as I was still working part-time at this cardiac rehab clinic. I kind of had an epiphany one day. I had always known that I wanted to start my own private practice. I've always had this itch to be an entrepreneur. I thought I wanted to start my own restaurant before I wanted to become a registered dietitian. I thought I wanted to open a gym. So really always wanted to be an entrepreneur in some way, shape, or form. I just wasn't sure how. And one day I was just driving to work, and my commute was pretty far, and I was just kind of unhappy and knew this wasn't what I wanted for myself. And I kind of had this epiphany where I was like, if I don't just go and believe in myself and start this, I'll never do it. Or the longer it takes me to start it, the longer I'm going to be stuck in this place that I don't want to be. So after that one morning drive to work, I finally texted my business partner, who is actually my sister and helps me out so much in this business, is my partner. And we started Lifelong Wellness Goals really about like a couple weeks later, and it's been such an amazing growing learning experience, and I'm sure it will continue to be something that is not only challenging but a blessing as well. And I love it so much. Of course, I have my days where, we all have days where we feel that we aren't doing things right, or maybe we're not in the right situation, but ultimately this is my passion and I'm so excited to be here. And a little bit more about why I started Lifelong Wellness Goals and why I'm an intuitive eating dietitian and nutrition expert. Because when you think of a registered dietitian, you don't typically think of someone that is promoting that you can eat all these different types of foods that you love, which is what intuitive eating is. But the real reason that I am an intuitive eating dietitian is because I struggled with disordered eating for about 9 or 10 years of my life, starting all the way back in middle school and then up to my college career as I was studying to become a registered dietitian. So probably back in like 6th, 7th, or 8th grade was probably my worst year of really struggling with my disordered eating habits. I really struggled with my body image, and as a result didn't eat much and was constantly comparing myself to all these other girls out there, whether it be in my school or on TV, or social media was starting to become a big thing already then. So even on social media, comparing myself. And then going through high school, I was really big into sports. I was in literally like all seasons, like winter, spring, like summer. I was always in a sport basically. So as I went through high school and was going through sports, I was constantly moving my body because I was in sports and was always, hungry and lacked energy because I wasn't eating enough as a result of that. So I was still really struggling with my disordered eating habits going into high school. But I was definitely eating more in high school because of sports, because I was so hungry because I was using all my energy up from sports. But I was still really struggling because even though I was eating more, I was feeling guilty for what I was eating, or I was binge eating because I felt like I shouldn't be eating, so I would restrict, and then it would end up in a binge because I wasn't eating enough, basically. So I really still struggled with it going through high school. Finally decided I wanted to become a registered dietitian and went to college and was learning all about nutrition and how it worked in the body. So during college, I finally knew I needed to eat enough and like I needed to eat healthy, but I took my disordered eating habits to another extreme, which was what we would call orthorexia, where you feel like you always have to eat healthy, or you can't eat any type of food that's bad, or you feel really bad about yourself. And the reason that this happened to me is because I was becoming a registered dietitian, and I felt like I had to mirror or be this picture of health for people. So if I wasn't eating healthy, how could I expect to ask other people to eat healthy, right? So this still was fueling my disordered eating habits because I would really only be eating like really low calorie foods or like fruits and veggies. So I still really wasn't eating enough. And then again, I would end up binging at night or like sneaking food when I knew people weren't watching me, basically, because I didn't feel as guilty for that. So I went from one extreme, from middle school to really not eating enough, to another extreme where I was finally eating enough, but now I was just I felt like I had to always eat healthy. But then one day I did stumble across, I was like on Instagram and stumbled across an intuitive eating dietitian account. And I started going through her stuff and just really resonated with what she was saying. And I was really struggling in that time with my disordered eating habits. So I felt like I found the holy grail, because I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I need. Like, I know that this isn't right to always feel guilty for eating foods, or it's not right to binge eat and then restrict and then do this cycle over and over again. I knew it wasn't right. So when I found intuitive eating, I immediately jumped onto it, basically, and spent my whole entire like internship, which I said was from 2019 to 2020, really healing my relationship with food, learning to trust my own body, listen to my own hunger cues instead of listening to diets or other rules out there that are trying to tell me how to eat, when in reality, I know how to eat and my body knows what I need and how to eat. And I just needed to listen to that. So I took about a good year to go through my intuitive eating journey and really heal my relationship with food, and really built my confidence as a result of that as well. I was always someone who was a people pleaser and never could make my own decisions, didn't even really know what I personally liked. And I truly am being 100% honest when I say this. Intuitive eating is the reason that I'm so confident in myself. I'm not a people pleaser anymore. And I truly believe intuitive eating is why I felt powerful enough to start an online business, and really ultimately knowing that if I could heal my relationship with food and what I went through, I could help other women who were in the same position as me do the exact same. So that is another reason why we're here today, or I'm here today telling you this story, is because I want to help other women who were in that spot that I was, where I was really struggling in my relationship with food, find food freedom with intuitive eating. And that's my mission, and that's my goal with this page as well, to give you all the information you need and help you in any way that I can. And just one last thing about me, just a little fun fact that I like to throw out there. I'm also an Enneagram 7. So for anyone first that doesn't know what an Enneagram is, and hopefully I'm saying it right, it is basically like a personality test where there's tons of free ones online. You can go and easily Google it and go and take one whenever you want for free. But basically it gives you, puts you in this number category, and based on the number you're in, that's your personality. So I'm an Enneagram 7, which is the enthusiast, excuse me. And I truly believe that that is true. I've always been someone who has been very positive and always looked at the bright side of situations. For whatever situation I'm in, I've always tried to look at the best in anyone as well. And I truly have the belief, as well as being the enthusiast, that I can reach any goal that I set for myself. And another note I want to make there is I didn't always have that belief. Again, with my confidence that built with intuitive eating, that belief started to grow, that I could reach any goal that I set for myself. And I still have that strong belief for myself today, and I will continue to work on having that mindset as I grow in this business. And as an Enneagram 7, I'm very optimistic. I'm also very curious, and I would say that like Google is my best friend. I love to look things up and just be well informed. I think that we have so many resources at the tip of our fingertips, literally on our phones. So I think it's amazing to utilize our resources, and that's what I would say. I'm curious because whenever I'm just like scrolling through Instagram or Facebook or anything, and I don't quite understand something, I immediately have to go and like look it up and figure it all out. So I'm a very curious person. And lastly, I'm very opportunistic, which I always like to say this is not a good thing all of the time. I always think it's good to take on any opportunity that's thrown my way, which has just come back to bite me in the butt in my previous experiences, because sometimes I don't know when to say no, and I can take on way too many things and get really burnt out, which is something I've really worked on in setting boundaries with myself and saying no to things that I truly can't take on at the time. But I do think that every opportunity is a good opportunity to take into consideration as well, because everything, I believe, is a learning experience. And that's that. I'm going to end that right there with a little bit more about me. If you stuck around this long, thank you. I appreciate it. And for anyone that wants to get to know me more, you can follow me on any of my social media platforms. I'm on Instagram at mindful_dietitian_Taylor. I am also on Facebook. I have my Facebook page, Lifelong Wellness Goals, and I also have my private Facebook page, Supporting Your Goals with Intuitive Eating, which you might already be watching that in this group right now. But if you're not watching that, you can go and join that on Facebook or request to join. And you can find me on Pinterest and Twitter, as well as Mindful RD Taylor or Lifelong Wellness Goals for Pinterest. And thank you so much for sticking around. If you stuck around this long, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.